Hello? Welcome to the Charles Manson Love Hour.
Welcome to the Nate the Bullet Podcast, show number 6, Tuesday. Actually, no, it's Wednesday, January 18th, 2017. By the time we hit play after fixing all this stuff, it is now the 18th of January. Nate the Bullet at Twitter. Like the Facebook page, please. YouTube, subscribe, iTunes, Stitcher. All the little buttons are right there at natethebullet.com. Email info@natethebullet.com. Nate the Bullet is me, Wayne Roberts, and Jared Sue in the edit room. When he's not paying attention to the show, he's writing his book, tentatively titled S&M Diaries in the West. Luckily, his dominatrix girlfriend moonlights as a publisher. And because he's afraid of microphones, he thinks, I'll do the audio book, but I'm not doing what he says. That's filthy. But if his girlfriend orders me, I'll do it. I'll have to. This show is unofficially sponsored by Special Olympics, Southern California, pulled from the Mr. Mushy stocking for nonprofit plugs, SOSC.org. SoCal arm of the Worldwide Special Olympics with programs in 170 countries helping thousands and thousands of athletes with intellectual disabilities through sports, education, and athletic health. Become an athlete, a sponsor, volunteer, donate a vehicle. It's all there at SOSC.com. Special Olympics, Southern California. Of course, tell them you heard on the Nate the Bullet podcast, and they'll be sure to say, who the fuck is Nate the Bullet? This half hour is also brought to you by the Continued Adventures of Dishes and Cannabis Story Time with Kitty Cat, a little book I'll be reading to you every even-numbered show. I found it the first time I was ever in a helicopter. We were in Hawaii on vacation, Oahu, I think it was. And the chopper was orange and yellow and black, and the book was wedged in a seat. The pilot was cool and hilarious, kept us laughing while telling us about a friend of his with a porn stash that would get him into trouble all the time. I think it was 1982. Anyway, special Nate the Bullet podcast. We're going to go an hour, unfortunately for some, I guess. Got a guest. First time we're having a guest on the show. Chris Schwab.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Wayne.
It's been a blast so far. How do you feel less than 3 minutes in?
Feel great. Magnum PI reference gets me going every time.
It's always about 1982. I don't know where I came up with that. I don't know if it's because...
I was 2 years old in 1982, Wayne.
Really?
Yes.
I was 11.
Okay. So you're old enough for Magnum.
Well, halfway through.
I had to catch it on the reruns when it was syndicated. I got syndicated Magnum.
Well, it's all over. It's everywhere. I mean, how many the channels, especially with the local channels, when you pop that up, I didn't realize how many actual local channels you get with all those sub channels. Man, when I click on that, I feel like I'm back in the 80s watching all that shit, just like when I was a kid. And the Murder, She Wrote, Magnum PI, the A-Team, all that shit.
It's good times.
But I don't know why why I came up with to keep that silly thing going with 1982. I don't know if it was... What year was... Did you see Stranger Things?
No.
You haven't watched it yet on Netflix?
No.
You've heard of it, right?
I canceled my Netflix subscription.
Really?
Yes.
Don't blame you, but why?
Because I realized I could just pirate everything on Netflix on the internet, so I didn't actually have to have a Netflix account.
And it doesn't it piss you off though when you got there and you something that you bought through iTunes, like Civil War, I got through iTunes, and then now it's on fucking Netflix. I'm like, Jesus. I thought we got through with that, with all the DVD stuff. Do you still have DVDs?
I have a box of DVDs in my garage somewhere. I have not watched a DVD.
Do you have a DVD player hooked up, or do you no longer have one?
I have a DVD player hooked up to my computer, and my computer is hooked up to my television. So I could watch a DVD on my TV if I wanted to.
What about, do you have a gaming? Whatever you call it? I don't do gaming.
I know
so
it might surprise
Xbox,
you, Wayne,
PlayStation.
from my appearance, but I actually do not game anymore.
Anymore?
Yeah, I had to stop.
Really? You retired? When did you retire?
Oh, man. It's probably like 6 years ago. I don't know. It just gets old. It just gets boring.
It gets old, it gets boring, and you get tired of realizing, oh my Christ, it's 4:30 in the morning.
It's such a time suck, right?
Doesn't it?
It just totally sucks away your entire life.
And so I moved on from that to Tinder and Bumble.
Tinder, okay.
Those a couple of fucking time wasters.
Yeah, that's all we're surrounded now. We're just surrounded by things that are designed to waste our times. I mean, it's incredible. There's so many different platforms that are fighting for our eyeballs.
And they're all just mostly distraction.
And it's all distraction.
To keep you from what?
Hallucinogens, Wayne. To keep us from hallucinogens.
Well, one of the distractions is to scare you from them. But yeah, the distraction from really the distraction is, part of the distraction is to keep you fucking arguing about who the fuck is in that stupid chair.
I was thinking
called
about
the president.
This, on a deeper note, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I wish I could be that guy. I wish I could be that guy that could just go to work in my little job where I do the same thing every freaking day and come home and enjoy all these distractions that we have. But I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that has that crazy job or that menial job. Well, not menial, but repetitive job. If I had that job, I would end up killing everybody I worked with if I had that job for the rest of my life.
Which job are you talking about, though?
I wish I could be like a truck driver, and just drive my truck across the country and then come back home.
Well, those jobs are running out just like a lot, but we got to take a break. Hold on 1 second, Holmes. It's 7 after. Time for the continuing adventures of 2 minutes of dishes and cannabis story time with Kitty Cat. Perfectly on her golden tray that she'd take to each of the group, the apron she always wore was decorated with the Japanese kanji for cannabis. Her great-great-great-grandmother Wilma had made it when she herself was just a little girl, and it had been handed all the way down to Mrs. C. Unfortunately, by the time it got to her grandmother, information had been severely crossed, and they thought the kanji was the symbol for red hair and milky white skin, which was an obvious family trait. One gorgeous day years ago, Mrs. C decided to actually look it up. What she found astonished her, as it was very obvious those that made the laws had outlawed cannabis and omitted information to all for ridiculous reasons. And now she knew a lot more of the why. She had a great husband and a couple of great kids, but after this discovery, she had to leave and start a new life before the shark got jumped. The kids were okay with it because they were grown and off doing their own thing with spin-offs and other projects. Mr. C was fine with it too, as he understood how long she had put up with his snoring and EDD. There was no Viagra in those days. He loved her and wanted her to be free and live her life. Plus, he wanted to go start a life as a sheriff, and Mrs. C wasn't into it. And while sitting at the bus stop with a plan to start heading toward Oregon, a familiar black van stopped at the nearby traffic light and seemed to be emitting a dank and familiar smell. She caught eyes with Laverne, whose eyes were also caught by part of the apron hanging from Mrs. C's bag. Laverne motioned for Mal to check out Mrs. C and said, "And the continued adventures of..."
Is there a Japanese kanji character? There's an actual kanji character for marijuana?
For cannabis?
Yeah,
a
for
kanji
cannabis?
for cannabis? Yeah, it's right here tattooed on my arm.
So that's the actual character. How do you say that in Japanese?
Well, this just means cannabis, or hemp as they would refer to it. And this one means strength.
Cannabis strength.
Cannabis.
You have cannabis strength tattooed on your arm?
That's what it says to me. It's probably wrong because it's probably supposed to be the other way, like up and down. I don't know, but that's what I wanted. And it kind of trips me out that I don't see that kanji more often.
Cannabis?
The cannabis kanji. I figured you'd see it, because you see the flower everywhere.
You should open up a a dispensary in Little Tokyo, and you could have your cannabis kanji.
Well, that's where it supposedly all started anyway.
In Japan?
Yeah, that's where. Well, China and all the over in the east. That's
Weed?
where cannabis itself, especially for using with hemp and stuff for clothes, hempcrete. Back in the old
And
days.
all Marco Polo brought back were some noodles.
See, that's one of the things. There you go. That's why I was hoping you'd say that you canceled your Netflix, because Marco Polo's history was fucked up because they never mentioned fucking cannabis in that show with their little bit. The show was great, actually, if you didn't see it.
It was a good show. Just a lot of nudity.
2 seasons?
Yeah.
You watched both seasons?
I probably didn't watch. I don't think I watched both seasons.
I did, because I was back when I watched it back when I first broke my foot. So I had nothing else to do but sit here and
masturbate to Marco Polo.
I couldn't. Masturbating wasn't really on the agenda because the pain pills fucking sucked that away, and plus the pain, you're like,
Cause some EDD
but
problems.
I sure did keep swiping for no reason. Still kept on the Bumble and getting nowhere.
Bumble? What is that?
Bumble? You don't know what Bumble is?
No, man.
I
I
thought
have
you
like
were
4
single
apps
now.
on my phone.
I thought you were single, so you'd want to be one of the first things you learn.
I have a live-in girlfriend.
Wait a minute. We got to go back here. So, you had a fiance.
Yeah.
Is it the same girl?
I had to bust her down to girlfriend for conduct unbecoming a wife. So, she's not my girlfriend. She can work her way back up to fiance.
Wait. You're getting a little ahead of yourself.
One potato peel at a time.
But but first she was your fiance. How'd she get
No,
bumped?
she was my girlfriend first.
Right.
And then my fiance.
Right.
Then she got busted down back to girlfriend.
Right.
So
and
now she's still
busted
girlfriend.
Oh, so now she is girlfriend. So
Right.
I thought you had
Which
said
means
that
the
she
ring
got
is in the
busted out of
house. It's just not on her finger.
So what was it that she did that was unbecoming?
Oh, man. I don't know if I can talk about that here.
Just keep it. You can
How
talk
many
about
people are
whatever.
listening, Wayne?
Just don't name names and just keep it cool. Just how would you say it? How would you say it if somebody asked you in public and she was standing right next to you?
I mean, it wasn't like infidelity or anything. It was just,
She tried to stick your finger up your butt, didn't she?
She did.
Aha.
But that wasn't the reason.
So
but I
he's
think most
open-minded,
girls do that,
ladies
right?
and
Most
gentlemen.
girls want to stick their fingers in their boyfriends or fiancés' asses at some point.
What's the question again?
Like most girls want to, if they've never done
most.
that, they want to do that to their man.
It's only been a handful for me that have
Literally
done
a
that
handful?
or have tried. There's only been a handful that's gone for the handful.
That's gone after the
Gone for the
little
gone for my
little
star
push
fruit.
push and the tush tush.
What did David Cross call it? That pink ruby star fruit.
Oh man, I don't know what it is. I think it's a power thing with them. Like they think. I mean, I know she thinks I'm gonna enjoy it. She really does. She thinks I'm gonna enjoy it. And I don't know. Maybe I would, but I've had a finger in my ass before, on more than one occasion, and it was not enjoyable. It just felt like I was taking a shit. Right?
What, for medical reasons?
Yeah. So like, why would I want that? I don't want to feel like I'm taking a shit in my bed.
Well, obviously it would be a little bit different when you're in the bedroom and that's something's happening there, as opposed to being in a doctor's chair going, because it's not
I'll
as
take
sexual.
your word for it, Wayne.
Well, depending on the doctor. Well, you can. Well, see, the thing is, for me, I don't give a shit. I don't see why it's a big deal, because it's like half the fucking dudes that you meet that have a problem with that. Doesn't mean that you're gay or whatever, but what you're forgetting
No,
is
I'm
that's
not
where you're
worried
not you. I'm just talking about the average fucking person. Chill the fuck out. I'm talking about how everybody usually jumps their shit, not realizing that, hey man, that's where your fucking G-spot is. So what are you doing making fun of it? So many dudes make fun of that stuff, and it's kind of silly. Now that I used to laugh at it, of course.
I'm not buying
before.
this G-spot thing in the prostate.
That's where it is.
I'm not buying that.
It's probably different for everybody, and some people feel it more.
If
Dudes
our
probably feel
actual-
it more than others, but that's where you're a nurse. How
Okay,
do you
look.
not buy that? It's obvious.
But if our actual G-spot was in our prostate, we would start getting prostate exams when we were like 14.
Some people do. Well, those are the ones that get made fun of because they figure it out quick. I don't know. But that's why that's why it usually happens where people go in, they don't realize it, and doctor sticks their finger up there, and boom, they've got a hard-on. That kind of proves the whole G-spot thing. It doesn't happen to everybody.
Just the gay dudes.
You don't have to be gay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a chick sticking a fucking...
Okay. I've never gotten a hard-on with a finger up my ass.
No?
No. I mean, that's an easy experiment to do.
What about your girlfriend, former fiance's strap-on? Was that different?
That was only one time. And I did not get a hard-on. No.
See, I don't either. That's the problem. But some can. I'm kidding. Sort of. I haven't been laid, and I can't even remember now. I think it's been, October?
October? That's not bad. October's not horrible.
And I'm not even sure that's right. It's probably August.
October of what year?
It was probably just a lucid dream, and I didn't realize.
Lucid dreams are great.
Aren't they? But they kind of fuck you up because you're like, wait. 16 past the hour, time for a 1-minute Facebook scroll in the market. Go to my feed, right at the top. Chet and Andreas shared Science Friday's video, which is a little 5-minute video about fungus. And what will I do right here? Right now I'll hit like and I will share it straight to the Nate the Bullet page. Ka-pow. So now you'll see exactly when I was recording this show, when that was posted to the Nate the Bullet page. Anyway, New Wave Entertainment spins off Comedy Dynamics into standalone company. I don't know, I don't care. Chelsea Manning's sentence was commuted. Oh, Assange agrees to extradition if Obama grants Chelsea Manning clemency. They want Assange. Moving on. Robert shared Lee Camp's video from Redacted Tonight with his retort about the government calling them fake news. That's the same thing as blaming gays for overpopulation. And that was a minute of a Facebook scroll in the market.
I think fungus needs rebranding.
It does.
Right? Because, I mean, the word fungus is pretty repulsive. But, I love fucking mushrooms. Like mushrooms, like...
You're not talking psychedelic.
I like psychedelic mushrooms, too, but, just normal, portobello, some shiitake. Those are great fungus, right? But when you say fungus, it's like, oh.
Yeah, we've been taught to react to that word like it's
feet, athlete's feet, or crotches, right? Like somebody itching their crotch, right? Like that is not appetizing.
That's part of my my thing is fungus. That's what everything is anyway. That's what's the trip about that is we've been taught to react that way when the opposite is how we should react, because fungus is actually what keeps everything together. We talk about trees all the time, but we don't talk about the mycelium underneath the trees, which is the fungus, all that down there, which is feeding the tree as well. And we don't talk about how the biggest fucking living organism, it's not well known at all, but the biggest living organism on the planet is a giant mushroom in Oregon. Boy, you've seen it, right?
Is it one mushroom?
It's the mushroom head. The normal thing is it's huge, looks as big as a house, but it spans a long ways. I can't remember the numbers because of all the they also take up the mycelium that's underneath that you don't see, that's holding all the shit together.
Is it a poisonous mushroom?
That I don't know. I never actually went that deep into my homework in that. I don't think people are eating it. I mean, it's
right.
It's there. It's a sight to see when you go to Oregon.
Now I know. Exactly I got to go see the big fucking mushroom in Oregon.
I can't look it up because don't have my mouse right now because 2 microphones, computer's all messed up, and I could be doing it, but I am doing it. So, but you say you like you said you like magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
So you've tripped. We've never talked about this before.
Yeah. I mean, man, I've done mushrooms, a couple times, maybe a little bit more than a couple times, but I like mushrooms because you feel so good when you're on them, and then you feel so good the next day after you've done them, and after you've had that experience. Like, there's even marijuana. Like, you don't feel the same way afterwards that you feel when you've taken mushrooms. I've only had good experiences. I mean, there have been like, there can be that awkward. I have had awkward experiences where you feel like you're kind of not uncomfortable, but you feel like a little antsy. Like you don't, you can be in one place and then you feel like, I need to get up and go somewhere else, or like your joints or whatever start feeling a little loose, or, you just start feeling a little weird, and, you just want to move around. I think moving around is probably the best thing to do when you're on mushrooms, like going for a long walk. I think those are the best trips I've had on mushrooms, is when I'm actually going for a walk. And sometimes those walks turn into skips. And, it's fun skipping, and like as an adult, like how often do you get to skip? Like, we don't skip enough, Wayne.
You're right. You look like a fucking freak if you're out there skipping.
If people skip more, this would be a way better society. Think about that.
That's part of my thing.
Can you imagine that? Seeing people skipping on the sidewalk? Going to Starbucks and skipping?
Instead of laughing at them, you'd be laughing with them. That should be normal. Just like so many things that people freak out about and make a big deal about should be normal, especially when it comes to manners. But back to the mushrooms, though, when you were talking about how it makes you feel good, so you personally know yourself how they can help your mood, or whether it comes to depression and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've never actually tried. I've never I've never felt depressed and be like, hey, let me take some mushrooms to feel if I feel less depressed. But like, I've taken mushrooms and like the next day I felt like really great, just about everything,
And it lasted. Did it last for a while?
Yeah, I mean, at least all day.
Well, did you kind of notice it? Did it still trace on for a couple of months?
I didn't notice that.
Now, go back and how much have you? What's the highest dose you've ever done?
I have no idea. Probably like
See, there's a mistake.
Yeah, like
that's a mistake, lady.
2 stems.
Don't do it that way.
Yeah, 2 stems and 2 caps, maybe.
That's the most.
Yeah, that's probably the most.
Oh, brother, man, you haven't really tripped.
Yeah. Well, okay. When I was in Amsterdam, I had 0.8 grams, which is like nothing, right?
Yeah.
But I had 0.8 grams of these mushrooms from Hawaii. This one-eyed lady sold us some mushrooms from Hawaii. Seriously, she had one eye, dude. And she gave us these mushrooms, and I was seeing all kinds of visuals. Like, it was super intense, and it was great. Like, I felt great the whole time. I had a hard time telling what was real and what wasn't real, which is always fun, And but it was like such a small dose. And these mushrooms were completely different than the mushrooms I'd had, at home.
No, it's a super strain. Those are much more rare than the.
Yeah, it was weird. It was the only mushrooms I had taken where I felt hungry when we were on them. Like all the other mushrooms, I never wanted to eat. Like all my other experiences, but this one I was like, man.
Do you get hungry when you come down?
No. I usually don't eat until like the next day. Because sometimes it make me a little gassy.
Well, here's the other thing. So you wouldn't know because you've never done the actual 5 grams, the regular 5 dried grams, with the belly thing. So also when you would just do a couple of caps and a couple of stems, would you do that on a full stomach, or would you pay attention to not eating for anything for 6 hours at least?
Oh, I don't know.
So
I didn't even think about it.
That's part of the. That's a bit more of the sacred part of it, to make sure you really get what you want. But we're going to take a break and be right back, okay?
Hi, Nate. How are you? This is a minute of Rona's mind on the phone off-roading in a Jeep. This is a thank you and love for Barack Obama's presidency from my people. Now listen. Thank you for grabbing that bull's balls and holding on tightly for 8 years. Wasn't that awful when they cut them off in season 2 of Mr. Robot? High treason, I say. Now listen, thank you for your work with making sure we're working with the best technology. To bomb over 70% more than W with drones from an office just shows how efficient you were. And how safe you kept that soldier in a chair with a joystick. Hey, I am speaking. Why do you always do this? It's like he was still at home with Mom in the next room. Which brings me to thank you for working toward a greener world and being a fighter for not wasting energy. Think about how much manpower those drones save. My husband and I's company is running like a new machine and poisoning the world like a jalopy from the 20s. So thank you for keeping America the consistent bully country it's been for years. Now listen, this has been a minute of Rona's mind on the phone off-roading in the Jeep. Why must you yuck it up while I'm talking?
Oh, that poor thing.
Where do you think that word jalopy comes from?
It's got to be an old word.
Jalopy. Maybe like Italian?
Are you going to make me look that shit up?
Yes.
Wait a minute. No, let's go back to the mushrooms. Where were we? Where did we leave off? Some professional.
I hadn't like scientifically gotten the 5 grams on an empty stomach.
So okay. So you've never done the empty stomach. Well, one of the main things to do is the less you have in your belly. First, the less you'll be nauseous, because some people don't get nauseous at all. Some people get more nauseous. The less you'll get less nausea with less food. At least 6 hours. Don't eat beforehand. But the more you go, and usually I go more because if I don't do it very often. I haven't done it since July. People think I do mushrooms all the time because I talk about them. I haven't done it since fucking July. It's
well,
been
you're really
6
not
months.
supposed to do them all the time.
No,
right?
you're not. You can't because you end up burning up your tolerance. It's tolerance building anyway. So when I hear these people that say, "Oh, I did mushrooms all week," how the fuck did you do that? No, you didn't.
Yeah, it's not that kind of drug.
No. So that's the first sign of bullshit. But most people do. Most people say that, and I used to be the same way. I'm just because this is part of my figuring things out and paying attention more to when this stuff gets mentioned. Because I used to be the same way and didn't measure it out. Like, oh, that's enough. Well, it was like 3-4 stems. Well, that's a lot. 3-4 caps to go with it. Oh, that's wasn't even an eighth probably. And that's how I did it the first couple of times. But it wasn't until when I was really paying attention, I went back with the Hicks going, wait a minute. The Hicks joke when he said the 5 dried grams. Wait a minute. And he's Terrence McKenna. And it's starting, clicking, going, wait, I'm not doing it right. So I looked up Terrence McKenna on YouTube, and he went where he says how to do it. And I did it. And so the first time I did the 5 grams, I did it with a buddy of mine right down the hall. And he'd tripped quite a bit before, but he had never treated them as sacred. So he didn't get until we did this one. Then he went, oh,
this is what it's
because
about.
we did it the correct way. We had our little ceremony where we picked one and we drank it with a little bit of wine. But man,
so you got to make an instructional video now. Because that's what I was missing. I was missing the instructional YouTube video. There wasn't YouTube when I was taking them. If there would have, I probably would have looked for the video first, how to take magic mushrooms properly.
Absolutely, you would have. We'd be a lot further ahead when it comes to the knowledge of that shit. If it was, that's what's helping a lot of stuff, because a lot of people that are still scared of it or whatever, they can look it up now and go. Some still won't even look it up. They're so scared they won't even bother looking. But that's one of the beauties of YouTube. Yeah, if you have, for a lot of people have put up things you can type in, get yourself ready. If you're going to go for a higher dose or whatever, if you've already gone the lower dose and you're ready to go.
You can't OD on mushrooms, right?
No, you can't OD on them, but you can get put in the hospital if you go too much. But you don't need anything more.
Well, what do you mean put in the hospital? Put in the hospital because you're freaking out, or put in the hospital because you're not feeling good?
Oh, it would be more in the mind.
Okay.
You could lose yourself a bit if you go past 5-6 grams. Yeah, you're playing with a little. If you've done it before, if you've done 5 grams many times, you can do that because you've built up the tolerance.
The lady in Amsterdam didn't want to sell us any more than 8 grams or 0.8 grams. She was like, no, you guys.
This is all you need.
This is all you. And we're like, no, because we saw this little tiny bit, 0.8. We were like, no. We are experienced users. We can handle this. And then we were tripping. 2 of us, actually. So we only had 0.4 grams a piece.
0.4 grams
and we were tripping balls.
Piece.
Tripping balls, Wayne.
So you felt like you were in Oz or the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, I could see like Disney characters in the cement.
Oh, so you saw the Smurfs?
While I was walking.
And I thought you meant, sorry.
And then the buildings, they're really close together, and I saw them like moving like an accordion, getting like squeezed together and pulled apart, and yeah, it was nuts.
Sounds like you're describing Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was really fantastic.
There you have it, folks. See?
But then we did end up playing in a construction site that I thought was a playground. So, you do have to worry about...
This is a big fucking sandbox,
Right.
man.
Right, and we walked by, like, the Rembrandt Museum probably like 10 times without actually going inside. We couldn't figure out how to make that happen. We were lost walking around that city.
I can't picture it. I've never been over there. When was this? How long ago was this?
Oh, man, 2005.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2005. We were trying to get mescaline, and the lady wouldn't sell us mescaline. She was like, no, you guys can't have that.
She can see it. She has to be. She's like some kind of a
She
fry
was like
lady.
the
She gets
gatekeeper.
it. She's a shaman.
Right, and then I asked, okay, well, what about peyote? Can you just give me the peyote? Like, maybe I'll go the organic, natural way. And then she was like, it's not peyote season. I was like, what? We didn't come in the right season for peyote? You guys don't just have it dried somewhere? Just stored for the off season?
Did she
No.
have an answer? Or did she say when peyote season actually
No,
is?
I don't remember. Maybe. But I was disappointed. But, like, that place is nuts. Amsterdam is nuts. When I first got out of the train station, like, within 10 minutes, somebody was trying to sell me coke and heroin.
What?
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like Vegas. It's like Vegas for Europe. So
Why the fuck? I mean, of course now it would happen because I don't do that shit anyway. But when I was like that, when I would go, oh, not with heroin, but I've never had anybody. That's never fucking happened.
yeah, that happens to me here. That happened to me in MacArthur Park. Somebody tried to sell me heroin. Some old fat lady on a bench.
Recently?
It was probably like 10 years ago.
Oh,
Yo,
it's back in a big fucking way because it's so cheap.
that's horrible. Heroin is a horrible drug. It destroys people's lives.
You know where it's coming from? Most of it.
Poppies,
Well,
Afghanistan.
There you
War
go.
on Terror.
Hey, this boy's here. Ha ha ha. Ain't not much learning that has to be done here.
Well, that's where it comes from. I mean, that's where they grow the poppies, right? I mean, there has to be no government involved, or a government that's completely corrupt.
That's right.
So,
Which is
but,
ours.
it
not
doesn't matter.
theirs.
We're
And
using
They
it.
get blamed for it, but
We're using it though. I mean, as long as there's a market, there's going to be a supplier.
Well, dude, the CIA is. Everybody talks about Escobar and all these people. They name all these little names and talk about, oh, they're
Yeah.
the drug kingpin. Like, whoa, no, the biggest cartel on the planet is the CIA.
Well, we allow them to grow it.
We allow them to grow it,
Yeah.
and how does it get shipped back over here?
Yeah,
It
on the
gets shipped over
C-130s.
here in fucking coffins and a lot of things. Yeah, remember, what was it? The
Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, Denzel and
Going
Russell
to Thailand
Crowe.
and getting the
American
Gangster.
Yeah, that was real. That was true shit, and they
Yeah.
still fucking do that stuff. It's sick. And then turn on football, and the military's part drug dealer. They've got their hand in it, and oh god, I'm so fucking tired of it. And that's not to say that that's not to put down soldiers. That's just the propaganda is hilarious, especially in this country. The propaganda here with the military is no worse than it was in fucking Germany for the Nazis back then. It's no fucking worse really here. But people about Germany.
Except we don't have the ovens.
And the ovens, that's so much of that is...
Are you an oven denier?
No, I'm not an oven denier.
No, I mean, my relatives turned into bubbly.
Let's go to a little bit more of the facts and a lot of stuff. Who writes history? The winners.
That's right.
Meaning that the history is certainly not real.
That's right.
There's a lot of shit that's omitted.
That's why I didn't learn about Native Americans in high school.
It's kind of like those, yeah. And it's kind of like it's kind of like with your relationship. It's in a relationship.
Did you know that California was Mexico in 1848? It was still a part of Mexico.
Of course I know that. You know how I know that? Because I take the subway and I learn it by reading the pillars.
Los Angeles was established in 1781 as a city.
1781.
That means it was a Mexican city for 75 years before it became part of the United States.
Man, you've got me on that one. I can't even. You're making me think of weird shit and off my. Where was I now? Where the fuck was I? We were talking
Sorry,
about Mexico.
buddy.
No, it's fine, but shit.
I know you were talking about the military-industrial complex.
Well, no, yeah. Well, it's the whole thing with the back to the winners writing history.
Right.
It's like two people. It's like a relationship, and two people telling. You hear one side of the story, and you hear the other side of the story left out all kinds of stuff that makes them look bad.
Sure.
Happen. It's the
That's
same.
what I would do if I won.
Fucking thing. So but it's as far as so many people seem to know that and understand that, but they'll still go, well, that's what the history books say, because there were so many people that were paid to regurgitate it and repeat the information. And there wasn't 6 million people. Right. I mean, if you can just look for yourself, and there was like 6 million people didn't die during that time. Not even all pulled in together with everybody. It wasn't even that. You know how much killing would have to be going on, and that's ridiculous. The numbers are bloated and retarded, but
the Germans did keep very good records, though. The Nazis
and
kept
so did the Allies.
Immaculate records of everyone that they
and the Allies cut off a lot of their food supplies and medical supplies and all kinds of other supplies, and that's one of the reasons why you saw a lot of skinny people. But you didn't see the pictures of the skinny soldiers.
Yeah, maybe.
And then when there's pictures where you see a soldier on a bulldozer with the body stuff, and people immediately, without looking, they just immediately think it's an Allied soldier. So why would they don't put, they have to do something with it. No, you don't. That's a crime scene.
Right.
No, that's not what you do. Even if you're the Allies, you don't go just bury. What are you doing? It's so twisted, but we've been programmed.
Well, it's not like the U.S. really like Jews either.
It's just like it's like it's like the programming, like we talk about, like the fungus. You know, you hear the word fungus, and everybody immediately, ugh. It's the same thing with if you try to say anything against these ridiculous bloated numbers without looking for, and then all the people that freak are the ones that haven't either looked for themselves, or they only go by one certain, don't realize that, there's people that'll tell you there's all kinds of numbers out there,
right?
But they'll all go for the big one.
So if the Nazis would have won in World War II, they would have only have killed 4 million people in their history books.
We did more of the killing. How many did we kill by dropping a few bombs?
Sure.
We killed a ton. So that's the other thing. I'm so fucking sick of that.
It's the hypocrisy of
the
war?
hypocrisy of the war. Yeah, just like when it comes to the Manson shit, and our president who orders, how many fucking drone bombs just in 2016? What was the number? What was the number? Was it like 26,000 or something? I see on Ben Swan, something like that. Okay. So somebody who signs away that, and all those people that sign away that, 26,000.
Right.
But they don't get that label.
Well,
it's just done but those are more innocent people.
Right. Well, it's like, when there's a school shooting and like 12 kids die, and then we drop bombs on Kosovo, and like thousands of people die on the same day, which is what happened in Columbine, right? Clinton dropped more bombs in Kosovo than any other time during the war on the same day that the trench coat mafia kids took out a couple of their classmates in Colorado. And we focus on that because it's scarier to us.
We focus on
here. It's 2 little white kids shooting other little white kids. And it's like, what? That's not supposed to happen.
No, it's not supposed to happen. And I can't speak very intelligently when it comes to Columbine, because I haven't done the homework on that one as I've done with other stuff. I like Sandy Hook.
They just released the video of it, like not too long ago, the whole thing. Like there was
really?
They had it like partially. They had the like partial video, but now you can watch the whole freaking thing. It's pretty crazy.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's pretty nuts. But the whole point is that we pay attention when 12 people die and not when thousands of people die, And they're both tragic, they're both tragic, but it seems to be that's what we focus on.
No, we're trained. We're back to the fungus. It all comes back to the fungus, brother.
Right.
Because that's what keeps us alive anyway.
The fungus amongst us.
We are. You've heard me say it before. That's what we're really saying when people, Jesus was a mushroom. All gods that they put out there, it's all psychedelic. It's all the natural psychedelics of the planet. And
well, there's got to be a reason why they're on the planet, right?
There's
got to be a reason why all these psychedelics are here.
Exactly.
Right? There has to be.
There's got to be a reason. There's got to be, there's so many, and why, and it's easy to see if you do the homework that all religions are based in it.
Right.
It just depends on whatever region.
Is marijuana considered a psychedelic? Because I've heard at high enough doses you can start seeing stuff. Now, I've smoked a lot of weed.
Depending on the strain.
And I haven't seen anything.
Depending on the strain, people have. The first time I got. Well, the second time that I got high when I was 15. You probably haven't heard the story. My first time I got high, it was 8. I didn't know it.
That's a little young.
I didn't mean to.
Oh, you got secondhand high?
Yeah, from my dad. And I didn't know what the fuck but I didn't figure it out until I was 15 and I tried.
You're like, hey, I felt this before.
Yeah, after the first flip out, it was like, that's what made me calm down. I was like, whoa, what the fuck? And then after a few minutes, I was, wait, I know this. What the fuck? And Pink Floyd, The Wall was playing. I'd never seen The Wall, and not the album, the actual movie. And I just got sucked right the fuck into that.
It's the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life.
I watched it. My stepbrother and I watched it probably 25 to 30 times in the next 2-3 months.
Were
Were
you high when you watched it? Did you smoke?
Every other night, yeah. We'd get high, and you could tell when we started doing that. You could see the dip in our fucking in our grades.
The productivity.
But the bad part is, you're going back, you're like, wait a minute, what? That weed couldn't have even been that fucking good. First, I was in Maine, so how the fuck a 15-year-old got decent weed? Well, the weed the weed when I was the first time when I was 15, the second time I got high, that shit was fucking powerful because it's been very rare that I've gotten that high again. I don't know if it was because of that boom, but
and you were in Oregon.
Dabbing. It wasn't until I dabbed or took too much edible to where it hit me that hard again.
And they had dabs back then, right?
I have no idea.
Because I've heard that people
You're talking about
smoking marijuana wax.
When you say back then, when exactly do you mean?
Like, I mean, I know it's popular now. But like when 95, let's say,
Yeah,
I
I'm sure
wasn't,
there was
I don't
people doing it, but
remember, I don't remember anybody smoking wax,
No, I didn't start hearing about it.
Right.
Until
I never saw anybody.
In the last 10 years.
But I've heard that it's been around a long time by people that do it now. So I'm like, I don't know if that's substantiated.
I was a bud tender, and I never actually asked that. I
heard it was something that they
so
used
many
to
of them,
do,
the
like
wax, and I've learned
like
so many of the stuff.
20
I didn't
years
even think,
ago.
how long have they been doing this?
Yeah.
I never thought to ask, like an ass.
Do you need a special
That's probably why I
smoking
don't
device?
do that anymore, huh?
I've never smoked a dab. I've never smoked the wax.
The first time I dabbed was my birthday, 2010, I think, and it was right downstairs, dude that used to live here. And what it was me and a neighbor that lived across the hall here, he and, well, his girlfriend wasn't here yet. She was coming. And then there was a couple that lived on that side over here to my place's left.
Are you incriminating all your neighbors right now?
Well, none of them live here anymore. And I ain't naming names. But the 5 of us and some other people were going to go out, and then there was other people going, where are you going to be? And we were just going to be around here drinking. This is back when I still drank. I don't drink anymore, unless it's a little bit of wine for mushrooms.
That'll be in the instructional video.
But before we got all started or whatever, we ended up in this guy's place. Otis, his name was Otis. We ended up in his place. Me and this neighbor and the couple over there. She was the one that, for some reason, he started talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, I'll bring you down what the hell were we drinking? Not margaritas. What the hell were we drinking? She made frozen daiquiris or something." So she brings him down, so we go down, and that's where first time I saw it. And he's like, "You don't have to do much. You don't have to, you don't have to hold it. You're not going to see much of the smoke. You just inhale just a little and just let go."
Was it a vaporizer? You use a vaporizer?
It was this gravity thing that I've never seen since. Not the normal gravity bong that you know,
like a bucket full of water.
This one was weird. I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it fucking since. But boom, and of course I hit it again, going, well, I didn't really feel it. So I'm a daily, I smoke grass, so
right.
These guys it'll affect because they don't smoke like that much. Man, 10 minutes later, I feel like I took a shot to the jaw and started fucking wigging out, and Chris started wigging out. All of us.
But did you have visuals?
Except for her, huh?
Did you have any visuals, any hallucinations?
No, that wasn't visuals. No, it was just I don't think I'm ever gonna get high ever
Have
again.
you heard any? Have you heard about anybody?
Just
that had
some
visuals?
people, but
I
usually
don't think it's true.
I don't think
haven't
it
met
is
one
either.
person.
I don't think it's. I've heard it, but I don't think it's true either. It's kind of like the whole thing when people talk about, oh yeah, I know how to do mushrooms, blah blah blah, and they see somebody take more than 3 or 4 caps and stems, and they fucking, what are you doing? Oh my
Right.
god, you don't know shit.
Because
And that used to be me.
yeah,
But that's so when I hear the bullshit stories or the mushroom, oh I did mushrooms all week. That same thing is the same reaction I have with
Right.
people that say that they've
I've
seen a bunch of
smoked
shit.
a lot of weed in one sitting. I mean, like a lot.
Like
and
almost where you smoke yourself straight.
And I've never seen anything. I've
Gotta
always
be-
wanted to.
It's got to be some powerful shit.
I
Now,
mean, I've tripped out on like a screensaver after I've smoked a bunch, but like that was different, I wasn't seeing any. I was seeing real things on a screen that I was just really fascinated with. Just like the Pink Floyd movie, right? But I've never like actually seen not like with mushrooms where you actually see like faces and
Well, now that high when I was 8, there was the face in my book. That was what was freaking me out, and what
Okay.
freaked my mom out was because when I went upstairs afterwards, not knowing, I just went up to do my stuff, and I'm in this book and this face and it's talking, and it's like, what the fuck? And it's just like doing that whole thing. I felt that. And
maybe your
like,
dad
whoa,
was smoking
stop.
PCP.
This was strong stuff, I guess, back then. I don't know. Well, I was only 8, so I was pretty sensitive. But then when I was 15 and did it again, I did a little bit, but it was more like when you only have visuals for mushrooms when you close your
Right.
eyes. Like the last trip I did, I didn't have any visuals unless I closed my eyes. It was
Right.
kind of annoying because I wanted I like
Right.
my eyes open. But it was like, oh. And I was seeing playing cards. But anyway, back to 15, at the first few moments, there was stuff, but it did feel more like it was just like visuals in my head. I don't think it was actually out
Right.
there, but it was fucking powerful. But the other part was, holy shit, I know this.
Right.
Oh my Christ. I got high when I was 8? That's what that was. All this time, I kind of put it away and thought it was just some little freak out.
Right.
And wonder, where did these panic attacks come from later on? No, that's...
Panic attacks. That shouldn't happen.
A lot of people have panic attacks, don't realize they've had panic attacks, like mini ones and stuff. The strongest one I've ever had...
From marijuana?
Well, edibles usually.
Oh, yeah.
Edibles will...
Yeah, if they're really strong edibles, right?
But I've had panic attacks that don't, without having anything to do with marijuana.
Oh. That's why you need the marijuana.
Turns out, I ain't had one in a long time. But back when I had them, there was a time when it associated one of the triggers was movie theaters.
Movie theaters?
I had a
Before the Batman shooting?
when I was married, my wife, I couldn't really tell her. That was part of the problem. I couldn't really bring it out because I didn't know how to say it. But I kind of did it here and there, but I didn't do it well enough. But
What was it about?
I'm
the
a
movie
movie guy, and and she'd always want to be going to the movies, but didn't understand why I didn't really want to go. And when I would go, I was kind of different. I was every time I step in there, I didn't want to get popcorn because I was afraid I was going to choke on it. I don't know what was happening, but when I would go into a movie theater for some reason, and it stems back from when I was a kid.
Can you eat popcorn in the house?
Oh, I can do it now. It's not a problem. I go to the movies. Well, still don't
Yeah,
go
some
very
kind of
often,
traumatic
but
event.
I don't have it anymore. But it used to happen. That's where it would happen, yeah.
That's
the
crazy.
biggest one, though, was after doing a fucking radio show. I got home, and as we were getting home, I'm going, wait a minute, I'm having a hard time breathing. What the fuck's going on? And I think it was caused by coffee. But it had nothing to do with any drugs. It was right after the show, and I was afraid to swallow.
Huh.
I thought I was going to actually choke on my own fucking saliva.
That's crazy.
And at that point, that was when I went, sweetie, I really think we need to go to the ER. And I think all they gave me was, I don't know if it was
Benadryl.
Xanax or...
Maybe Xanax. Yeah.
what's the other one?
Ativan.
Ativan. That's probably what it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Are
but-
mushrooms supposed to be good for panic attacks? Or anxiety? Or
Well, are they good to stop them?
yeah.
I've never looked
ever
into
heard
that, but
anything
I
about
would
that?
guess that when you do a decent amount, you do it if you are a person that does the 3 months, at least every 3 months, and you feel how, the uplift, put it this way, like you said, you felt good for a day or whatever, and just
Yeah.
a couple caps, whatever. after a heroic dose, 5 or more grams, for me, just like what I read, I felt good for like two months, whatever. It was about 2.5 months where I went, ooh, last couple days. And I actually texted Tim, and I was like, dude, how are you feeling? Are you feeling kind of like, you've been cool you've said you've been, a little bit more up than normal. He goes, yeah, it's kind of starting to fade. I'm like, see, there's the 3 months. Every 3 months, it's the cycle.
But that's how you know it's not bad for you, right? That's how you know the drug's not bad for you is when you feel good after it's done.
Yeah, that's what
right?
the side effect is. Yeah. You feel more like a kid again, and
right.
you don't feel as.
I mean,
the
after
dark is
taking
gone.
ecstasy, the next day you feel horrible.
Oh yeah, that's the come down. The crash is fucking
feel
awful,
like crap,
Coke
right?
or.
And then you just know, like, oh, this is poison. Why did I put this in my body?
Or LSD. That's why LSD makes you
LSD.
feel like shit afterwards a bit. It used to be worse, but I haven't done it in years. I have no idea now. It's probably not so bad. But
I heard
most
you get a
people
metallic taste in your mouth.
I think that's the old days. I don't think it depends now, but I think you can get it. You get it good where it doesn't, and it doesn't. It's not the come down isn't so bad, but with mushrooms don't have
nothing. There's no come down.
No. I mean, it's a little tough to get to sleep because by the time it's down.
Well, not if you've been skipping all day, Wayne.
Because you burn that energy off.
That's right.
Where was I gonna go with that? With the shrooms, you asked. Where was I? Oh, panic attacks. I would think that that would be one of the benefits if psilocybin helps depression.
Right.
And I would think that panic attacks are due to. I've never done the research, but
it's
aren't
an anxiety. I mean, it's anxiety induced. There's something that's making you feel not right. And you might not be able to put your finger exactly on it, but it gets you to the point where you stop breathing. That's what happens, and then your heart can go into different arrhythmias where you're not, and then you can feel that, and then that freaks you out even more, and you feel like you're having a heart attack.
And when you're a kid and you're having that problem, and you don't know how to fucking say it to an adult, and they don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, then you
a cigarette might help too.
Because that must have been why I took it up.
Yeah, that'll get you breathing good. I mean, just inhaling toxic stuff, but oh man, have you done mescaline?
I have never done mescaline.
See, my sister told me the greatest mescaline story when I was like 15, and it set me on this quest of trying to find mescaline. Of like, this is what I want to do. I want to try this. I saw that. Oh man, what was that Young Guns movie?
Oh, that scene is hilarious.
Right, and they did peyote, and they were like tripping balls, and like, but then they all started throwing up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to throw up. And like mescaline, you don't throw up. Like nobody told me that they threw up when they did mescaline. So I was like, okay, let me find some mescaline. But like I've never been successful at tracking down this stuff. And
you said earlier, when you first got here, did you say something about you want to try DMT?
Well, I heard this story. Somebody was telling me, or not telling me. I was listening to a podcast, and the guy was describing his experience of taking DMT, and I was like, it sounded so much fun, like so much fun. He was talking about like he was going into this alternate universe where he was like, it was like a big circus.
Phoning home.
Yeah, and like he like met this like purple lady, and this purple lady was telling him all this stuff, and he was feeling, like he was home, and yeah. And I was like, that is awesome. I want to feel that. I want to see that stuff, Like, what am I missing? I don't want to miss the alternate universe. Like I want to see it if it's there.
That's something that I believe should be that would make a better world if we had DMT clinics. It should be places like in a resource-based economy that I want, or that a lot of people want. That's one of the things, or with the whole any drug, you'd have a place to go do it right in the correct setting with the right people around. Just like if you go to the sessions for ayahuasca, whatever, we should have that. And if more people did DMT, we would have a different world because they would come out. Graham Hancock says, any politician taking office should be required to do ayahuasca at least 10 times before taking office because of what it does to you and the change that it brings about.
Right.
Now, yeah, you're right. And DMT should be one of those big ones, especially because DMT doesn't last that long. It's not...
Right, it was very quick.
Yeah,
a very short trip.
It's 10 to 15 minutes.
So what
at the
exactly
most,
is DMT?
usually.
Because I've been told, it's the chemical compounds of ayahuasca.
Dimethyltryptamine is what it stands for, right? Dimethyltryptamine. What is it?
So is that, did they get it from ayahuasca?
I'm not the fucking science guy. I don't pretend to be the
man, this is your
science
show.
guy. The molecules, I don't know exactly whatever.
But that's what they're, because like mescaline comes from peyote, DMT is supposed to come from ayahuasca. So it's supposed to be like...
DMT can come from basically anything. DMT is in your... They say DMT is in your brain. That's where you get...
Well, they call it the God molecule, right? That's what I've heard.
The spirit molecule, yeah.
Yeah,
Dr. Rick Strassman.
They call it the God molecule.
But you can extract it from a blade of grass. You can extract it from many, many things.
That's crazy.
It's all over the place. But it's illegal, and most people, we're all carrying it around in our brains, but it's illegal for you to have.
Right,
it.
well, we have all these chemicals, right? We have morphine in our brains. We have all this stuff there. And it's just how do we get it to, get it to come out when we need it?
When we need or want.
Right. Because it's all there. Everything's there.
Even cancer.
Right. Sure.
And it's just, whatever matches up for it to make it grow, like sugar and other fucking shit.
I mean, there's studies saying that we're all fighting cancer all the time. It's always happening, but our body's taking care of it for us.
It's the bad fungus or the virus or whatever.
Right.
There was something that I said once, and I went, man, that was pretty cool. That just popped out of my head. I got to keep that. And, of course,
well, that's why you got the legal pad.
I can't remember it. Well, it's actually recorded. It's actually something that was recorded, and I still can't fucking remember it.
You don't have to worry about it. It's recorded.
Even after...
you got to make a T-shirt then.
You're goddamn right. I should.
There you go. You sell 1 million T-shirts. It's $1 million.
Well, that's what I'm... But, yeah, well, man, we got to have... The swag that's coming up now. It was just going to be the logo on some hoodies and T-shirts and maybe some hats, but, yeah, now we got to have one that says, who the fuck is Nate the Bullet?
Yeah.
Got to have one that says whatever it is that I can't remember that I said.
There you go.
The list just keeps going. Man, we're building the store.
Right
Getting
now.
more done in this show than I expected.
Building the store.
Meanwhile, people are going, what store? Like I'm going to buy anything from you, you fucking tard.
There's at least 8 people that will buy something.
There are some people that'll throw money at shit. That's not what I'm doing it for. But it would be nice to have some swag.
It's about truth.
It's about truth. And
justice.
And
the Chinese
maybe a little
way.
bit of that. And the what? The Chinese way? It's the Japanese way.
The Japanese way.
The Chinese kanji is the same. It's just a lot skinnier.
That's what I've heard.
That's true. It's just skinnier. The Japanese one
Right.
is a little more fat.
Right.
Got a little thickness to it. So
yeah, I've been to Japan. I went to Japan for a month.
You spent a month there.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. I had the privilege of being able to spend a month in Japan. I got to travel all over Japan, and I got somebody to write out my last name in Japanese characters. So they got the actual characters for Schwab.
Schwab.
Which is Siwabu. Siwabu, which means samurai circle dance.
Samurai circle dance.
That's right. I thought was pretty badass.
Did they teach you any dance or did they
No,
that's just
that
what it
doesn't mean
means?
shit.
You
It means
just made that up.
Siwabu. But Siwabu is samurai circle dance, though. But I thought it was funny that Siwabu is the closest translation to Schwab that they have.
So
my last name in Japanese is Siwabu.
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 Why don't you have that tattooed?
Because, dude, Japanese people don't tattoo shit on their bodies. I mean,
You're
unless
not
they're
Japanese.
Yakuza.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about...
I don't want to tattoo any. There's nothing that I've wanted enough to tattoo on my body. I don't need to tattoo anything on my skin is constantly expanding and shrinking.
What it's good for is if you lose a bunch of weight, it covers up the stretch marks.
No. It just looks like they're behind bars, or that my tattoos are behind red bars at that point.
That's the thing. What is it that the people do? I don't even know. I've never looked. What is it that you do with the skin? If you do lose all that weight, what
you
do
just
you
have
do
extra
with the
skin,
skin?
dude.
You don't. I've seen some people where it's just like hanging. You're like, wait, what's
yeah.
going
When I
on
lost
there?
100 pounds, I just had extra skin. It was kind of funny though. I could like pull it and stretch it, like fucking Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, it's just extra skin. Like a lot of it will snap back, you know. Of course, I was a lot younger when I lost all that weight, so I don't know now. Maybe it wouldn't snap back.
Well, on that note, our hour is just about up, homie.
Jesus, it's been an hour already? Well, the first, 10
See, it
minutes
goes by
sucked,
quick.
So.
The first time, what?
First, 10 minutes sucked, so.
Did it? Well, that's because it was all me rapping on my bullshit. Anyway, we're going to be back for show number 7. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jared. Thank you, everybody. Remember, it's all part of the cosmic joke. Daddy loves you. Stop looking at me, man. Looking at me, man. Looking at me, man. Looking at me, man. Looking at me, man.